In this Adobe Illustrator tutorial today, I'm going to show you how to make this wraparound effect on a sphere, as well as create 3D text in Adobe Illustrator. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new document. I'm just going to go with a 600 by 600 pixel, but you can create whatever size you want. For the first step, we're going to create the objects that actually wrap around the sphere. So to do this, we're going to click on our rectangle tool, and we're going to come over here onto the artboard and just click, and it'll bring up this little dialog box, and we're going to input the width of 300 and a height of 20, and click OK. And as you can see there, it's given us a rectangle. I'm just going to change the color so you can see it a bit better. Then what we're going to do is go back up to our selection tool, or you can hit V if you want, and we're going to hit enter, and it'll bring up our dialog box again, and we want to change the vertical to 30, and then we're going to hit copy, and then just hit Control D or Command D until you have 6 of them. Okay, we're then going to select all of them and go here to our shear tool, and we're going to hit enter again, so it brings up another dialog box, and we're going to put the shear angle of 6 and then click vertical, and we're going to hit OK on that, and as you can see it's tilted all the rectangles. We're then going to go back to our rectangle tool, and we're going to start in this top right hand corner and drag to the bottom left, and it will draw a rectangle over all our shapes. We're then going to go to our selection tool, select all of the shapes, and we're going to go to our Pathfinder panel. If you don't have your Pathfinder panel, you can go Window and then go down to Pathfinder. You can also hit Shift Control F9 on your keyboard. And then what we're going to do is hit the Crop button, and that should leave us with just the area that was inside the square. We're just going to drag this over into our symbols box and call it Lines, and we're going to change this to Graphic. And if you don't have your symbols box, again just go up to Window and it's down the bottom called Symbols, or you can hit Shift Control F11. We don't need this anymore because it's over here in our symbols box, so we can just get rid of it. So now we're going to create the sphere that we're going to wrap those objects around. So we're going to go to the ellipse tool, we're going to drag out a circle, and I'm just going to move it into the middle here, and then we're going to cut this circle in half. So you want to make sure your smart guides are on for this, so if they're not, just hit Control U on your keyboard, or you can go down, or you can hit View and then go down to smart guides. So we're going to hit our line segment tool, and we're going to start up the top above the circle in the middle. Your smart guide should give you a green line as to where the center is. You can then hold shift and just drag it down past the bottom again. We're then going to select all the objects again with our selection tool, and then we're going to hit divide, which is again in our Pathfinder's panel. Once we've done that, you'll see that it's still one object and we can't actually split it, so we're going to need to right click on it and hit ungroup. Then click off it, click back on the left hand side and hit delete, and we should be left with the right hand side of a circle. We're then going to select this and go up to Effect, 3D, Revolve. Once we've done this, we can just hit Map Art, and we're going to go and select our lines that we created earlier, hit the Scale to Fit button, and we want to tick the Shade Artwork and also the Invisible Geometry. And you can see on the preview that we have our invisible wraparound effect. We can come back in here and we can tilt it forward a bit if you want to see the top or something like that a bit better. And apart from that, we're just going to hit OK. Just drag this down the bottom. Okay, so that's the first half of the tutorial. I'm now going to move on to the 3D text. So first off, you can just type a word, as we can see here, and I'm just going to make the font a bit bigger. Okay, and you might want to select the bold as well, makes it look a bit nicer when you're done. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put a gradient on this. So we're going to go up to Object and hit Expand, and you want to tick the Object and Fill box. And the next thing we can do is click on our gradient slider and it'll apply the gradient. If you want to change the gradient, you can just double click on these little, no you can't, you get fade to black, and then you can double click on these little sliders and change the colors to whatever you like. And you're going to want to make sure this opacity is at 100 and put this at a darker blue. You might want to just double click to add a new one in the middle if you want. And there we go, we got our gradient there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to ungroup them all, so they only, when you click on one, there you go. And we're going to head up to the Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. And if we tick the preview box, you can see what's happening here. So for this first one, we can just leave it like that, doesn't really matter. Second one, same thing, 3D, Extrude and Bevel. We can just move it around a bit, something like that. Again, if you hit the preview button, you can see what you're doing. And so on and so forth. And that's how you make 3D text. It's actually really simple. So that's all we're going to do for this tutorial.